Today is the last day for John Bercow as Speaker of the House of Commons after 10 years in charge of basically living within the House of Commons and neglecting his family, might I just say, on behalf of the British people. Bye, have a great time. No one really cares. Mostly because many would argue he has intentionally used his political bias and ideas above his station to push through amendments that made it more difficult for Brexit to happen. I would counter with, well, it does make things on my end a lot more interesting. Perhaps I'll have to do a political profile on him. The Keith Vaz one, by the way, will be tomorrow. Today I want to talk about the lead-up to the election. There has already been 300,000 people who have gone online and registered to vote. This is huge. It's great news. The more, the better, and I want to see debates. I want to see them so badly. The problem will be, obviously, whoever gets to host them will undoubtedly claim that they own the copyright, so I won't be able to do a video response. Perhaps it'll have to be a stream instead, which I think you'll all appreciate. Another thing to add on this is that Mark Zuckerberg has allowed and made it clear that political ads can now run on Facebook. Now, this actually comes after Twitter has announced it will ban political ads, which I highly doubt will stand. It also will not, Facebook that is, be fact-checking any of the political ads. Instead, only banning adverts that contain claims that have been debunked by third-party fact-checkers. So basically not an official source, because who wants to pay for that? Mark Zuckerberg has defended this by saying political speech is important, and that some people accuse us of allowing speech because they think all we care about is making money, and that is wrong. You're right. You also care about obtaining new parts for your droid. Since the announcement of the election, it has been estimated about 50 MPs, possibly more at time of recording, have indicated they intend to stand down. Some are a surprise, some are not. One of the biggest non-surprises is Kenneth Clarke. He is the longest-serving Member of Parliament and known as the Father of the House because of that. He has served his constituency of Rushcliffe for almost half a century. Now, he was expelled by Boris Johnson after he rebelled against the government over Brexit. But it was clear at the last general election and the one just before, he was going to stay on until Brexit was dealt with. He supported any deal brought forward. He is a Remainer, but he supports a deal. He will not be missed too much, but it'll be interesting to see if the Conservatives can keep the seat. Others would include Sir Oliver Letwin, who was also a former Conservative minister, who was at the forefront of parliamentary attempts to delay Brexit. He was the one that brought forward an amendment that got voted on that kind of delayed everything. It was pretty bad. Justine Greening, a former Education Secretary, has actually said she will achieve more positive change outside of Parliament to improve social mobility, and believes she cannot effect as much change as she would like to within Parliament, so will instead leave Parliament. It should be noted, because there are actually quite a lot of MPs that have left over the years. This table shows where the highest number actually have happened. This isn't even in the top 3, so it's not a huge amount, but people will undoubtedly make it appear to be that. The largest coming from 2010, around the time David Cameron was elected Prime Minister. Another Conservative and actually current Culture Secretary is Nicky Morgan from Loughborough, who cites the impact on her family and other sacrifices involved and the abuse for doing the job of a modern MP. MPs do get a lot of flack. I guess she didn't think to private her Twitter. Another somewhat well-known resigner from the Conservative Party would be Sir Nicholas Soames, who is the grandson of Sir Winston Churchill, who was kicked out of the party over his opposition to a no-deal Brexit, but has been welcomed back into the party and received his whip again, but is going to be standing down. Sir Dave Liddington is stepping down, the former Duchy of Lancaster, but he is stepping down because he wants to spend more time with his family while he is still in active and good health. He has been in Parliament for a long time, so it's totally understandable. The final one I want to quickly mention is Joe Johnson, brother to Boris Johnson, who was in Boris's cabinet, but resigned over the cabinet's decision to handle Brexit although I think he did it more to grab a little bit more attention and get Mummy's approval, who herself voted Brexit. For Labour, there aren't as many high-profile people standing down. Most of those are because of anti-Semitism stuff or because they're 82 years old, which on the list actually surprised me. I did not see Dennis Skinner, which is actually great news because I like Dennis Skinner. And for the Liberal Democrats, the most high-profile person standing down will be Sir Vince Cable, who I'm surprised is still awake, alive, or even going. Like Mingus Campbell, I don't understand how he's still going. With the names of these people standing down, it will be very interesting to see how the parties try to get those seats or keep those seats, even if they're strong points, depending on the politics they try to push in those particular regions. I am very interested to see the campaign as it unfolds. While it's unfortunate these MPs are standing down, only one of them is a character worth talking about, and that would be Bercow. The others will be missed, but will not be remembered as much. Although I would not be surprised if Ken Clarke got a peerage. I also would not be surprised if eventually Bercow got one too. Maybe Nicholas Soames because of his grandfather. But we will see.